witnesses that anything happened to Kaylee Marie. 0 by way of any type of confession. 0 by way of how this child may or may not have died.
The case against Casey, with attorneys fighting over the right to speak. Good evening. I'm Bob Pryor.
And I'm Jacqueline London. The state is trying to silence Casey Anthony's attorney.
Yeah, but Jose Baez argues that it is the state that keeps leaking false information, and it is his right to respond. Normally, it's the defense who would ask for a gag order, but this time it is the prosecution. They say that Baez should not be making his case to the media, but he says the state is leaving him with no choice. Tony Pipitone has been in the courtroom all day. Tony, understand we're not going to get a decision on this today.
No, Judge Stan Strickland gave attorneys until noon tomorrow to give them any more legal authorities on which they want him to base his opinion. Right now, it looks like he will issue an opinion at noon tomorrow. And it also indicated he will not be gagging George and Cindy Anthony, 2 people who could be witnesses in this case and therefore could be part of a gag order. But he basically told them not to worry about it. He's not going to gag them. But he gave all indications that he would be probably issuing a gag order in this case against the attorneys involved. And you'll see why in a minute. Very unusual proceedings today as Jose Baez and Jeff Ashton from the state attorney's office went at it. And you can see things did get a little testy.
Every single thing that has been released and leaked out into the media, Judge, has been leaked by the state attorney's office or law enforcement. I didn't tell the public that there was alleged chloroform in the trunk of that car. I didn't tell the public that there are allegedly chloroform searches on the Anthony's computer. I didn't tell the public that there was hair found in the trunk of the car that could be Kaylee's. That all came from this side of the room. But this looks like a scam to me.
That is not. You know what? I'll tell you what, it's getting old.
It is getting old.
Well, yeah, let me finish here. No. You two are going at one another, and counsel is here as well, and I'm really getting tired of it. I don't put up with this in ordinary everyday court. I'm not going to put up with it here.
Pretty unusual there to see a judge admonish experienced attorneys about how to conduct themselves, their decorum in the courtroom. But you could see an objection. That attorney who rose to her feet is an attorney for the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and Jose Baez was sort of suggesting that they haven't been forthcoming with everything, all the tips that they've been getting, and that they're charging him too much for it. And it did get testy in there. The judge did basically tell them to cool it, that this is a serious case. We're talking about a possible death penalty case, someone who could go to prison for life. And it's not the kind of case that you want to see attorneys bickering with each other in the courtroom, although we did see that today. Reporting live from the Orange County Courthouse, Tony Pipitone, Local 6.
Tony, isn't it true that usually neither side wants to try their case in the court of public opinion? Is it unusual, then, to have a gag order need to be granted?
Yeah, if a gag order is granted by this judge, it would be fairly unusual. There are rules that lawyers are supposed to be bound by. They're canon of ethics, and they are supposed not to be discussing their personal opinions in the court, in the media rather, because it can taint a jury pool, and that's something that the state is very concerned about. There's still a question of whether they can have to change a venue because a jury pool might be tainted with all the pretrial publicity. So that's why it's come about, and we'll find out tomorrow whether Judge Stan Strickland is going to issue that rare order.
Okay, Tony Pipitone, we'll be looking forward to your next report. Thank you, sir.
Meantime, a new call today to detectives in the search for Kaylee. The missing girl's grandparents went public again to say the photo taken at the Florida Mall is Kaylee. They're even planning to release new photos. Lewis Bolden is live now at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Lewis, the Anthonys say they received a sworn statement from the person who took those photos.
Yes, Jackie, their private investigator says he got that sworn statement from that person, and we did get a copy of these new photos, and we would like to show them to you. If we can, the photos show a little girl at the Florida Mall. A tipster spotted the little girl, thought she looked like Kaylee, and snapped the photos with her cell phone, and the Anthonys now want the sheriff's office to investigate.
We're not going to stop. I don't care what it takes. Our goal is we're going to bring Kaylee Marie back home.
Cindy and George Anthony are holding on to hope, hoping that their granddaughter Kaylee is still out there.
And I feel very confident every day that we are getting closer and closer to finding her.
The Anthony's latest glimmer of hope comes from a photograph taken of a little girl at Florida Mall on November 16th. The people who took the photo believed it was Kaylee, and the Anthonys believe it could be.
There's still credible evidence out there that demonstrates that Kaylee Marie is with us and she is alive.
Dominic Casey is the family's private investigator. He spoke with the tipster who took the photo and says the tipster even signed a sworn statement saying they tried to contact law enforcement about the alleged sighting but got nowhere.
There was no response from law enforcement.
The Anthonys say they are asking for the sheriff's office help and say they are not trying to take the attention off their daughter who faces murder charges, but rather find their granddaughter.
We're not out there, and Dominic said, we're not out there trying to discredit what the prosecution has against Casey.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office has said in the past that they have evidence that proves that Kaylee is dead, and so they will not devote resources to alleged Kaylee sightings. Reporting live at the Orange County Sheriff's Office, I'm Lewis Bolden, Local 6.
Lewis, have the Anthonys received any more responses from those photos?
No, Jackie, they have not. And they said, you know, if they did receive a response, even if it's someone who called and said, hey, that's my kid that's on TV, that's not Kaylee, they said even if they got a call like that, that would be enough for them to let this go. But unfortunately, they haven't gotten any responses. Jackie?